It was 3 o'clock in the morning, and the little radio station was dark and quiet. A young woman sat alone at the microphone, the only person awake in the whole town, it seemed. Then the telephone rang, the way it did every single night, at exactly 3 o'clock. An old man asked for the same old song he always wanted, said nothing else, and hung up. Who was he? So come with me tonight, and let's find out who was calling at 3 in the morning. Listen slowly and try to relax. Don't worry if you don't understand every word. Just enjoy the story. Her name was Wren, and she was 23 years old. She worked the night shift at a small radio station in a small town. The station was called Star 101, and it played old songs all night long. Wren sat alone in the studio from midnight until 6 in the morning. While the town slept, she talked softly into the microphone, and she played music. She liked the quiet. She liked the warm light of the studio in the dark. But sometimes, on the long nights, she felt a little lonely too. Most of the town was asleep. Her only company was the music and the microphone. Wren was still new. She had only worked at the station for a few months. She had taken the job because she loved radio, and she loved old songs. The studio was small and cozy, full of old machines and thousands of records. On the wall, there was a big glowing sign that said, "On Air," in soft red light. And on the desk, there was an old telephone for listeners who wanted to call in. Most nights the phone was silent. People did not often call at 3 in the morning. But there was one call that came every single night. Every night, at exactly 3 o'clock, the old telephone rang. And every night Wren answered it, and she heard the same quiet voice. It was an old man. His voice was soft and gentle and a little tired. He never said hello. He never said his name. He only ever said one thing. "Could you play the old song, please?" And he always meant the same song, an old tune from many years ago. Wren would play it for him every night, and he would listen without a word. Then, when the song ended, the line would quietly go dead. He was gone. And the next night, at 3 o'clock exactly, the telephone would ring again. Slowly, Wren began to look forward to the 3 o'clock call. On the long, quiet nights, it was nice to know someone was out there, listening. She started to wonder about the old man. Who was he? Why was he awake at 3 in the morning, every single night? And why did he always want the same old song, and never any other? The song was very old. It was slow and gentle, with a soft piano. Wren had never heard it anywhere else. It was not a famous song at all. In fact, she could only find it on one old record in the whole station. It was a dusty record at the back of a shelf, one that nobody ever played. Every night, she took that one record down, and she played it just for him. She began to say a few kind words to him on the telephone. "Good morning," she would say softly. "Here is your song. I hope you sleep well." The old man never answered, but once, very quietly, he said, "Thank you." And that one small thank you made Wren smile for the rest of the night. In her own head, she began to call him the 3 o'clock gentleman. She did not know his name, or his face, or his story. but he had become the best part of her long and lonely nights. Then one night something happened, something that worried her. It was 3 o'clock in the morning, and the telephone did not ring. Wren waited. She watched the clock. 3:05, 3:10, but the phone stayed silent. The old man did not call. She played his song anyway, into the quiet, just in case he was listening. But there was no soft voice, and no quiet thank you. The next night, at 3 o'clock, she waited again. And again, nothing. Wren was worried now. Where was the 3 o'clock gentleman? Was he ill? Was he all right? She had no way to know. She did not have his name. She did not have his number. All she had was an old song and an empty telephone. So Wren decided to do something. She decided to find him. The next day she came to the station early, while it was still light outside. She wanted to learn about the old song, because the song was her only clue. She went to the oldest part of the station, a small back room full of dust. It was a room full of old boxes, old records, and old paper. Nobody went in there anymore. It was full of the station's history. Wren began to search through the old boxes, looking for that one song. She looked through papers and photographs from many, many years ago. And slowly, she began to understand something wonderful. She found an old, faded list of songs from the station's very first night. It was a list from 40 years ago, when the station first began. And there, at the very top of the list, was the old man's song. It was the first song, the very first song the station had ever played. 40 years ago, on the opening night, someone had played that tune first of all. Wren stared at the old paper. Her heart began to beat faster, because now she had a real clue. And the clue was 40 years old. The next night, Wren asked the one person who might know. His name was Ray. Ray was the station's engineer, and he had worked there for 30 years. He was a big, quiet man, with grey hair and kind eyes, who fixed all the machines. Ray knew everything about the old station. Wren showed him the faded list. Ray looked at the old paper, and a slow, warm smile spread across his face. "Ah," he said, "now that is a very old story. Sit down and I will tell you." 40 years ago, Ray said, this station did not exist. There was just one man, and a big dream, and a small wooden shed. His name was Gus. He built this whole station with his own 2 hands. Gus loved music more than anything, and he wanted to share it with the town. So he built a little radio station in a shed behind his house. He filled it with old records, and he put a tall aerial on the roof. And one night, 40 years ago, Gus turned the microphone on for the first time. It was late at night, and almost nobody was listening. But Gus did not mind. He was so happy and so proud. He leaned close to the microphone and he said, "Good evening. This is your town." And then he played the very first song, a slow, gentle tune that he loved. Ray pointed at the top of Wren's faded list. "That song," he said. "That one." Wren felt a shiver. It was the old man's song, the 3 o'clock song. Over the years, Ray said, the little station grew and grew and grew. It moved out of the shed into a real building in the middle of the town. More people came to work there. More and more people began to listen. Gus ran the station for many, many years, and the whole town loved him. Then, when he grew older, Gus finally retired, and he stopped coming in. "That was a long time ago now," Ray said. "I have not seen Gus in years. He lives alone on the quiet side of town, in a small house near the hill." "He must be an old man now," Ray said softly. "He must be over 70. Wren listened to every word, and her eyes grew wide. Because now, at last, she understood who called her every single night. The old man on the telephone was Gus, the man who built the station. 40 years ago he had played that song, on this station first of all. And now, every night he called to hear his song, on his station, one more time. He was not asking a stranger for a favor. He was calling home. He could not sleep at night, alone in his small house near the hill. So, at 3 in the morning, he called the station that he had built, just to hear his song, just to know that his station was still alive, and that somebody was still awake, still there, still playing music in the dark. Wren felt her eyes fill up, but not with sadness, with something warmer. All this time, she had been playing for the man who started everything, and he had been too shy and too humble to ever say his name. Now Wren knew who he was, but she still did not know why the calls had stopped. She only knew one thing for certain. She had to find Gus, and soon. She wanted to thank him. She wanted him to know that his station remembered him. So the very next morning, Wren and Ray drove out to the house near the hill. The house near the hill was small and neat, with a little garden by the door. Wren knocked, and after a while the door opened slowly. And there he was, an old man with soft white hair and gentle, tired eyes. It was the voice from the telephone. It was Gus. When Ray said hello, old Gus looked up, and his face lit up like a light. "Ray," he said, "is that really you, after all these years?" The two old friends shook hands for a long, long time. Gus told them why the calls had stopped. He had caught a bad cold and stayed in bed. It was nothing serious, but he had been too tired to reach the telephone. Now he was better, and he was so happy to have visitors at his door. Wren told him softly, "I am the one who plays your song at 3 o'clock. Gus looked at her, and his tired eyes filled with wonder. "So it was you," he said. "Thank you. You kept an old man company." "I did not want to be a bother," he said, "so I never gave my name." Wren smiled, and she said, "You were never a bother. You were the best part of my night." Then she told him something that made him gasp. "Gus," she said, "do you know what next week is? Next week, the station will be 40 years old. 40 years since your very first night. And we would like you to come back," she said, "and play the first song yourself. Live, on the air, for the whole town to hear. Just like you did 40 years ago." Gus could not speak for a moment. Then he simply said, "Yes. Oh, yes." So, 1 week later, on a warm evening, Gus came back to his station. He walked slowly into the studio, and he looked around at everything. It was much bigger now, and much newer than the little shed he remembered. But it was still his station, still playing music, still alive. Wren sat him down in front of the microphone and she turned on the red on-air light. Gus leaned close to the microphone, just like 40 years before. "Good evening," he said softly. "This is your town, and this song is for all of you." Then he played the old song, his song, live for the whole town to hear. And all over town, in the dark, the telephones at the station began to ring. Dozens of people were calling in to say thank you and happy birthday to the station. The 3 o'clock gentleman was not alone in the dark anymore. The whole town was listening. And that's the end of our story. Thank you so much for listening. If you enjoyed this story, watch it one more time. You will understand even more the second time. Subscribe for new stories and keep practicing every day. See you in the next episode. Take care.